There's actually quite a bit of talk about coincidence in the season one finale of The Flash as it relates to the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, who comes from the future to the present where Barry Allen is and everybody, and Barry Allen works at the Central City Police Department with Eddie Thawne, who just happens to be the ancestor of Eobard Thawne. And it's acknowledged that yes, this is a coincidence, and it's almost like the writers, just like with the crossovers, where they acknowledge that they can only Flash and Arrow only cross over with each other at certain times, and it's totally contrived. It's like, yeah, we're aware that's a plot hole. Just leave it at that. It's like doing this meta thing where they're acknowledging is that, yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of convenient, easy, contrived writing, but yeah, we're aware of it. But guys, just acknowledging a problem doesn't make it not a problem. It's still a problem, even if you're aware of it. Even if the characters are aware of it. And actually, the reason why the Flash and Arrow crossover when they do is because some exec over in the CW said that Flash and Arrow crossovers are going to be an annual event. Right, an annual event. Okay. You know what the producers of Arrow and Flash should have asked this asshole? If they had any balls, they should have said, well, if you can give us a story reason as to why Flash and Arrow can only cross over with each other once a year, then we'll do it. If you can't, forget it. We're not doing it. Because it's fucking stupid. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they could have came up with a creative way to do it. I don't know, but they certainly haven't. Again, coincidences. So, yeah, comic book logic. So, Ted Grant, Wildcat, it's revealed in this season, he was the first vigilante of Starling City before Arrow was even there. And all he had was some boxing training. And that's good enough to become a fucking superhero. So it's kind of like the same thing with the Black Canary thing. And again, this is a comic book trope where just about anybody could become a superhero if they just get quote unquote training. I mean, let's look at Green Arrow's equivalent character in the Marvel Universe, Hawkeye. He joins a traveling circus and becomes a master archer. Okay, now he's one of the Avengers. He can be an Avenger. That's all he needed. He just needed to join the fucking circus. Alright, so that may work in a comic book, but in live action, it's going to start becoming more questionable. So, in getting, more with the coincidences and things, not only is it, a huge contrived coincidence that only metahumans are showing up in Central City and stuff. Not only with the superpowered heroes, but what about the non-powered heroes? They all just seem to happen to show up in Starling City. Oh, small world. It's like you got Green Arrow's there, and now you even got like Ray Palmer, DC's shitty fucking version of Iron Man, Ant-Man, whatever. And he just happens to come in and take over Queen Consolidated and to become a superhero. And in the ninth episode, I believe it's the ninth episode, where Ray Palmer is explaining to Felicity his intentions to become a superhero, Felicity cracks a joke about it, about how coincidental it is. Again, acknowledging that it's contrived, easy writing. And it's like the producers and writers are thinking they're being clever by acknowledging that it's stupid or something. Yes, we are aware this is really contrived. Ha ha. It's still stupid. It's way too coincidental. There's a whole other world out there, and all the superheroes are just showing up in Central City, and then there's of course no story explanation for it. And it's also a thing where it's as though like every major villain or hero in this universe, or at least Arrow, if you're just looking at Arrow by itself, never mind the metahuman bullshit over in Flash, had some sort of connection to Queen or Oliver Queen or Queen Consolidated or Ra's al Ghul in the League of Assassins, other than maybe Slade. And even then, he's kind of indirectly created by Oliver. Well, not Slade, well, Deathstroke, the Deathstroke persona. It's created by Oliver, indirectly. I mean, it's just like, and even like next season, the villain next season, Damien Dark, he was, hey, guess what? He's a fucking former League of Assassins member. Wow, that sounds familiar, huh? It's just like the League of Assassins just keeps shitting out villains for Green Arrow to fight, and then people just seem to be attracted to Green Arrow to become his allies. And again, it's this thing with the fucking Batman villain and a Green Arrow show in a universe that Batman doesn't exist, being the primary, biggest organization, most important organization in this whole fucking universe. It's just very weird. And another thing too about the League, and okay, I'm getting a bit of a tangent here, but it was better in the first couple seasons where they were used sparingly. And it's like I said before with the Ra's al Ghul and the whole Mystique thing, where it was better that way. Now they're so overexposed that they're just not as cool anymore. I mean, they have a pretty cool aesthetic. They look badass and things, but they get their asses whipped because they're just cannon fodder. Because you just made them just typical villains. It makes the stuff in season 2 where they used them sparingly and things, it just made them just seem like the typical build-up for them to be the villains in the 3rd season. And it's so contrived how they end up coming at odds with Oliver and everything, where they end up, Ra's al Ghul and Oliver end up becoming adversaries. It's so contrived and ridiculous. It was better when they weren't so overexposed, used so much, and everything else. It was better when they were just in the background. It just made them seem cooler. Now they just seem like lame. They're overused. So as far as the training, as far as Laurel and these people just happen to show up in to either Central City or Starling City. It would have been handled better in the first or second season. It seems like it would have been handled better. Whereas now it's just, well, we got a random hero that we want to show up in our show. We're just gonna have him show up. And the producers were actually talking about the difference between Arrow and Flash, and about how Flash season 1 was a good platform to launch these new superheroes, and Arrow's been kind of falling behind in the whole creating new heroes department. And it's just like, come on, guys. Yeah, of course Flash was better, because are you guys even aware of what's going on in your own damn shows? That's because there's a bullshit plot device baked into the premise of the show where random people can just pull random superpowers out of their ass. That's why it works in Flash. It doesn't work as well in Arrow because in your first 2 seasons, you try making the show realistic. Did you guys forget that? Now, like with Ray Palmer, Adam, shitty knockoff Iron Man, you just had him show up. Oh, now he's a fucking superhero. Oh, there's a superhero here. Do these people realize that what they had before was better than what they have now? Like the show was better when it was a more grounded, realistic show. But now they fundamentally changed the rules of this universe. Now we're suddenly in a cartoon comic book. And it's just so fucking jarring. And were they not aware that a certain percentage of the audience was not going to be okay with this? Because they bought it into the premise of the first 2 seasons. They didn't buy into this new premise. And they just assumed that everyone wanted this goofy comic book show. I did not want this shitty comic book show. This has basically become like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, it's pretty much that level of like suspension of disbelief now. It went from being realistic to fucking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, granted, a bit more serious. A lot of people don't realize this, but Power Rangers, there actually have been seasons that actually have more serious subject matter. Now, like people my age, we were the initial target audience for Power Rangers. I was like 6 years old when it came out, so most people my age dropped it when it got the Turbo. But you get the seasons like In Space, Time Force, RPM, Lost Galaxies, things like that. They actually start to deal with more serious subject matter. You actually get like main character deaths. Yeah, but then of course they end up being resurrected a lot of the time, just like Arrow. And look, this is just like Power Rangers, other than the costumes are better. They're better than fucking foam rubber, and you don't get the giant Zord battles. Other than that, there really is no difference. And that is not the show I signed up for. I signed up for a semi-realistic superhero origin story. And now, fuck it, we're gonna do diet caffeine-free bullshit fucking proto Justice League. The CW Justice League, consisting of DC's fucking Hawkeye, DC's Human Torch, DC's Quicksilver, and DC's Iron Man / fucking Ant-Man. It's like DC's shitty version of Avengers. So yeah, I'm not. So basically, the whole Laurel Black Canary thing, it's a product of that. This new mentality by the writers to just go full blown comic book. Because if you want a comic book show, you wouldn't question that. But if you're like me, wanting a grounded superhero origin show, yeah, it would seem questionable. And yeah, this is one of the reasons why I think this show is just unsalvageable for me. I realize this is a matter of taste, but a certain segment of the audience, like me, are going to be really turned off by this. Again, they should have made Arrow and Flash separate so they can have Flash can have their goofy comic book show, but keep Arrow how it was. And now that they're introducing the DC multiverse and all that, I don't know why they didn't just do that. Like, I don't know why they didn't just keep them separate universes. I don't know why they had them take place in the same universe. Other than the fact that they wanted to introduce Barry Allen in season 2 of Arrow and do a backdoor pilot in Arrow, because then it would be weird watching an episode of Arrow that takes place in a separate universe and it's just about the Flash. Okay, I could see that. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. Did they not expect this? Like it's like they made a conscious effort to make it realistic and things, and then suddenly, we have the Flash now, so fuck it, we're just gonna do live action comic book. Yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me.